Good evening, fellow. We already got one person. Scott was the first one on this morning, or this evening. See where I'm at right now. But also, yeah, we got a couple hopping on right now. We'll wait for a couple more people. We got 5 in the. Drop a comment in the section below. Say hi to everybody. I have pulled up the AOI stuff too, so that we can talk about that with Thomas and Chris, because believe it or not, those are the two that are tied up at the top of the leaderboard. And also, is that Kenneth? Is that Kenneth Graham? Kenneth the Wiz? Is that Kenneth Graham?
No, yeah. I don't believe so.
It's not?
Yeah.
It is? YouTube?
It is?
Yeah. Hey, Todd Zekiel also sent me a video of fly fishing. He does like a fly fishing podcast that he did a recap on Tenoroc. I'm going to be sharing that to our Facebook page too. So you guys get a chance to kind of see that. I know we share Chris Mitchell, some of Thomas's stuff on our page. And he sent me a video this past weekend, or a recap of his tournament pre-fishing. And he caught 65 inches, which is his personal best. On a fly rod. He fly fishes and he fished Lake 10, and he did pretty well out there pre-fishing.
Nice.
But I think fly fishing and catching 65 inches is pretty darn good. Pretty darn good in my opinion. But yeah, we got David Myers on here as well. See if we're gonna have Chris Mitchell pop in here this evening. So, but. Yeah, Tenoroc was a good event, guys. I had a lot of fun. We had 24 anglers show up for the last event, so it was a good showing. A little less than what we were anticipating for the last event, but that's okay. We have Orange Lake, which is the championship that we're going to dive into more a little bit later on in the show, and kind of clear up some confusions that there might be out there in regards to the championship and eligibility to fish that event. But this evening we have Thomas Woodring and Chris Harrelson joining us on the live. Chris is a 2-time winner on the Florida Kayak Bass Trail. He won at Claremont, and then he just wrapped up the season and claimed the W at Tenoroc. So we're going to be talking with him. And then we got Thomas Woodring, who's going to be joining us, and the Florida Kayak Bass Trail Angler of the Year winner. For those of you that looked, you probably saw that Harrelson was at the top. They were tied with 891 points. However, the tiebreaker goes to the overall largest bass caught in the regular season, and Thomas had 223s. And Harrelson just 1 inch shy, right? Or just a little bit shy of breaking that 23-inch mark and claiming the overall. But, I mean, heck of a job, Chris. And I know you missed 3 events due to some troubles that you were having in the middle of the season, which could have easily had you up at the number 1 spot, without this event. So we're excited to see how next year goes. But we're going to start off, and Chris Clutter, and I didn't hear anything back from Sherman in regards, so we're going to be able to talk to you guys, and then we'll kind of move on with our show on talking about the championship. But Todd, I'll kind of turn it over to you and let you do the honors, and we'll kind of jump in here and there.
All right. Well, cool. Well, one thing that I know that I can do real quick is kind of talk about Chris Clutter's 3rd place finish. For him, since we were fishing together, and I can kind of tell you what he was doing. I think it was almost all the way up close to 12 o'clock. he hadn't even caught any fish. So, we got to kind of fishing together, and so he started throwing a crankbait. I think he was using a 3XD.
Yeah.
He started catching them, at around 12 o'clock, about that noontime, which, if I'm not mistaken, out on Lake B, that would be prime time, right?
That is.
You always know. So that is kind of one of those windows. So he did great. So congratulations to him. So Harrelson, we're going to start off with you, man, since you are the big winner on Tenoroc. Kind of go into first off, tell us a little bit about yourself. Maybe even how you even got into kayak fishing, and then get into what you did on Tenoroc to take the W there.
All right. So, yeah, I've been fishing probably my whole life. Grew up on Lake Okeechobee, born and raised, born in Pahokee, raised in Clewiston. And so how I got into kayak fishing was I just stumbled upon a Chad Hoover video, 4 or 5 years ago. And I never even thought of fishing out of a kayak. Like, those were always like river things and people just, out having fun.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting into an Ascend and fell in love with it and been going since then. So
yeah, I'll put it this way, whatever some people think, I think Chad Hoover's done a great amount of good for this sport all the way around and promoting it. That's how I wound up getting into kayak fishing. So I appreciate you saying that, because KBF is an ambassador. We are an ambassador club for KBF, and I think they got a lot of people started in this kayak business. So cool.
That's awesome.
So tell us a little bit about your pre-fishing. I think, what you pre-fish the whole month of April?
pretty much. I mean, even though I'm right here on this Apoga, I fish Tenoroc more than anywhere. I've been going up there for like a year and a half, just about every weekend, every other weekend. So had a pretty good idea of, what lakes I wanted to focus on. And throughout the month, I tried some lakes I had never been on. So I developed a plan. I was going to start out on Turn first thing in the morning. That was the only place I found that had a really solid morning bite. And eventually end up on Fish Hook. And then after 1:30, 2 o'clock, I was planning to go to B and dredge some of those points. Because typically the wind sets up just right. You're guaranteed at least 2 more 20s.
Right.
Well, the closer we got to tournament, I started getting worried about not being able to get a spot on Fish Hook. So I bailed on Turn and just went to Fish Hook. And it was rough. It was a bunch of small fish early morning, because I didn't fish it in the morning, so I had no idea what I was looking at. Those bigger fish really never set up until late in the morning to later on in the afternoon.
What do you think, while you're talking about this a little bit, why do you think it was rough Saturday for, not just you, but it was rough for a lot of people that day?
I think the wind had a lot to do with how that place was fishing Saturday.
Yeah.
It wasn't blowing enough, and then when it was blowing, it wasn't blowing enough to move bait. I think that's got a lot to do with how most of the lakes up there fish. If you get around 4 or 5, the winds don't play into those, but the outlying lakes, I think it does.
I think you're right, because every time the wind would pick up, the bite would pick up. And I fished B. And I had a great day. I caught 30 some odd fish that day. So.
I think the wind, even during pre-fishing, we always had wind pre-fishing.
Yeah, it was windy every time we were out there.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Sorry to interrupt you, but I know that going into it really good. So Fish Hook, after you did hook, you came out to B, right?
Right. Yeah, I left Fish Hook around 1:30, which
You were leading. You were
later.
leading at that point, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right. I had that one more I really wanted to get rid of, that 16 3/4, and I just knew I could go there and I could dredge on some of those points that they set up every single afternoon in, and I got to the point I like the most, where I've had my most success, and there was somebody sitting on that one. So I just kind
Was
of had
that
to.
me?
No, sir, that was not you.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't that. Wasn't where you were. It was a little bit closer to the ramp.
Okay.
The one you call the nursery.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know which one you're talking about. I caught
Okay, so the reason it's called the nursery is because myself and Todd literally see Chris Harrelson every single time call a shot on this thing, and it literally every single time, and we're like, all right. So I'm surprised it didn't have anything on it that day, or it might have. It might not have had the big one though.
Oh, it had the big one on it because I hung the big one earlier and lost it.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, that's okay.
Yeah, so I kept on running points, and I did hook into one good fish that probably would have called that, but she wrapped me up in the bottom of some of those trees, and I sat there for like 20 minutes trying to get her out, and she wouldn't come out, and I broke her off. Outside of one smaller fish I caught, and
yeah,
I mean I ran every main lake point there was, and I only had those 2 bites.
Well, I think that lake had been fished pretty thoroughly before you got there, Chris, because I went back and talked to the front office there when we were closing everything up, and he said that Lake B was pretty much, they didn't have any more spots for the majority of the day. It was they had 15 people on it pretty much all day. So,
well, what's amazing is where we were, there wasn't that many people back there.
Really,
there really wasn't at all. Now, I will say, Harrelson, when I saw you first come through, I don't know if you saw me on that one point, and I just caught one right as you was coming through.
On the crate.
I think that one was 16.75 is what it was. Yeah. And right before me, Clutter caught that 20 back there.
Yeah.
So
that's it. We're done inviting people to the. I'm just kidding.
There's your fish right there.
Yeah. But it was still enough for you to hang on to that. I mean, you had a commanding lead. I mean, it was very hard. I think the person who made the biggest afternoon move was Chris Clutter.
Yeah.
And I was reading some comments too. Amy Brown found a school of fish on the lake that they were fishing late in the afternoon too. So that was good. But I think the person who made the biggest move in the afternoon was definitely Clutter yeah. So,
for sure.
But
so Harrelson, what was you catching them on? One of the comments here, we want to know what you were catching them on.
Okay, so the majority of my fish were caught on a white spro flat.
A white spro, you're freezing up.
Flapping frog.
Flapping frog, yeah. I hear that's a good one.
The spro flapping frog.
Yeah.
Yes. Sir, and then in long stretches of not catching. Right.
Oh,
we're
losing you, Harrelson. You've got a bad connection, buddy.
Yeah, on any creature bait, it didn't matter color, size. What about now?
I think it's still lagging, I believe. Yeah.
Am I good now?
You're a little bit delayed.
Yeah, it started storming here, so I had to come inside.
Oh,
We don't want you to get struck by lightning out there. You still got a championship to fish.
for sure.
How about now?
Oh, you're
Yeah,
perfect, man.
We're getting a tour of the house too, so don't worry about it.
No tour.
Yeah, that's better.
All right, so what did y'all miss?
So we got, so we were talking about what you were throwing. So
Okay.
We heard your the spro.
Okay, so the white spro flapping frog, and then in between the longer stretches of not getting bit on that, I was punching with 1.5 ounces tungsten. It's pretty much any creature bait. Didn't matter color or size or shape. They'd go down and keep going.
You gotta love that.
Yeah, it was fun.
Got to
it
love
was a
that.
fun event, that's for sure. Well, congratulations, buddy. Well deserved. You put in your time out there. You know, I enjoyed fishing with you that one day out there. So
Absolutely.
you know, it was a blast. So congratulations, well deserved. And you know, and then also, you know, coming in tying there with AOY points, you know, which will lead us into the next thing. That was pretty awesome right there to come up in there and get those AOY points. And unfortunately for you, Thomas had the larger fish. Fortunate for him, he had the larger fish to be able to take the AOY. So
yeah.
With going into that, Thomas, we'll spill right over into you. What was going through your head during the day as you were watching the AOY points there?
So when I checked the standings, right, I was like, man, you know, for me, Tenoroc it's not my thing, but because I don't go there enough. I'm focused on some of the other places, and when I saw Chris was up in the lead, I'm like, wait a minute, didn't he win Claremont? And then I was like, what was his other finish? So that's the first thing I did. Was I started scrolling like Fishing Chaos, stalking him. I'm like, wait, what did he do? So I'm going through and I see he's got a 4th place finish. And I'm like, oh crap, that's why he's tied. I was like, okay, if I remember correctly, Chris said Big Bass breaks it. And I went through every one of his tournaments. It was on Fishing Chaos. And I saw he had a 22. I was like, okay, man, this is not the place to hope that somebody doesn't catch something smaller than it's stays under 23, because those lakes are full of big fish. You see 25s coming out of 25 and a half. Doug Wilson posts them all the time. And I'm like, man, he could do this. So like the last hour, I didn't even fish. I just kept watching it. Because I knew, like, at that point, I'm like, I'm on a lake where I went just to get finish out a limit. So I was just sat there and I'm like, okay, well, let's see what happens. And if he wins it, he wins it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, to make that to win twice in a season is it's hard to do. So for him to do it there and especially at Claremont, that's pretty amazing. So, props both to him and to Conrad for both winning twice in a season. But yeah, the last entire hour, I just sat there. I'm like, okay, and just watched the board and kept watching the board. I kept refreshing the page. And then when we got to the meetup afterwards, again, I'm just refreshing the page. Like, does he have aliases? Does he have bad signal? Come on. So it was a nail biter. It was usually I like to be the person that puts pressure on somebody else, whether I'm chasing down Conrad or Chris in a tournament like Mitchell. This is the first time somebody's been biting my heels, and I'm like, this isn't fun. It's fun to be the chaser. This is not fun. So,
Yeah, it was.
Well, Thomas, you had good reason to be concerned, because for him to catch a 20 bigger than a 23-inch out there it's easily done most of the time there. So the way the wind was and how things set up, it could have been a much different turnout. But I think you have a lot to think as far as like the wind goes, because I'm telling you right now, from the weeks prior,
another 4 miles an hour faster.
I'm telling you, it would have been insane. I think that for everybody, and even for you, you could have went out there most likely and done a lot better.
I've been to the Rock before, and that's probably the worst I've ever done there.
Yeah.
When I got started in the morning, I got to my first spot, and I had like 3 or 4 in the boat. 3 of them weren't even legal size. One of the first 4 wasn't legal size. But I'm like, okay, it's on. We're in the right spot. I'm going to hit these markers that I have. I found fish. I just didn't find any size. I didn't even miss any big ones. I missed a ton of fish. All of them, I'm pretty sure, were so small that they had problems holding on to. I was fishing a Senko, and that they couldn't get the bait fully in their mouth. And then when they did, the bait was like folded over onto the hook. So I didn't miss anything big. I didn't feel bad about any of the fish that just popped off right at the boat. So I was like, man, this is kind of weird. And when I saw that, he had 99, I'm like, that's a pretty good bag. And I saw everybody else, like Sherman and some of the other guys, are up there, at 86 and lower. I'm like, ooh, it's fishing kind of tough today.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because we had some sticks there. Sherman is very, very good on it. Like, I've done very good out there. I mean, John Fox has done phenomenal out there. There's a ton of people out there that fish the Rock pretty consistently that can easily go over the 100-inch mark on a good day. And it was producing weeks leading up to the event pretty. I mean, you see, like I said, you see Doug Wilson out there.
Right.
And he fishes the same lakes that we do, those good lakes, and it was on. The bite there, I was very excited about Tenoroc, and then quickly became like a dagger in my heart when I went out there to my lake, and I was just like, this is going to be a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be.
Right. It's supposed to be a fun tournament where everybody's throwing up crazy numbers, right?
Right. It really was. I thought we were going to have multiple people over the 100-inch mark. I truly thought that was going to be the case. But
the dink bite was fire if you were looking for 9-inchers, because we were on me and Bailey were out there together, and I got bit 3 cast in punching mats. Yeah. And I was like, why am I not hooking these? They're biting. I was throwing a why not, punching it. Every time I pull it out after I bite, the claws would just be gone. And I finally hooked a 9-incher, and I was just like, oh, we're playing this today. It's one after another.
Yeah, and I think too, a lot of it had to deal with the wind, but also the week leading up to that too. It was extremely hot down in this area all week. And I think that had something to do with the water temp was almost like mid to high 80s.
The lakes that I fished, it was between 85 and 89.
Yeah, which is
that's pretty hot for this time of year.
Yeah, it's really hot for this time of the year, and to mention that the water levels are a lot lower than what they have been.
That too.
They've dropped. Those lakes have dropped down a good 8 inches or so in the past month and a half. So that's crazy to think, because 2 months ago they were over full from when those hurricanes come. I don't know how they got the water out, but they were definitely a lot shallower than what they had been in the past. But we got some information on Tenoroc for next year too, so we're going to push some of that out. We don't think it's going to be a lake that we're going to be able to fish tournament, like a closed tournament. They I don't know why they let us this time, but I guess afterwards when I went and spoke to them and told them that we were all good and thank you and everything, they were actually talking about how they don't allow private club tournaments at Tenoroc since it's state owned or whatever. It has to be open to the public. So that might be a location next year that we haven't open, but I don't think that I saw people putting it on their top 5 lakes they want to fish. So we're going to put that out there to where they can add another lake, because they're not going to allow club tournaments in there next year. So yeah.
Yeah, speaking of that, just the 19th, we're going to consolidate all those numbers. So you can go in, if you already made a post underneath that initial post I made, just go in and edit it, and you can change your lake, because Tenoroc's going to be an open if we decide to hold an open there, but just go ahead and edit your post. If not, Tenoroc's not going to be on the schedule. So,
yeah. And something I want to say real quick before we kind of get you guys off. Chris, man, heck of a job out there this year with 2 wins and a solid finish. And you weren't able to make 3 of the events due to some other issues. So first off, thank you for all the effort and everything that you've put in to fish these events. It's been a pleasure fishing with you. We're looking forward to finishing out the season strong. Sorry, my wife is eating an ice cream. But but no, Chris, man, it's been a pleasure meeting you. I mean, me, Todd, and Sean getting to fish with you. It's been a pleasure. And I can't be more thankful for that win to go to you. And how well you've done throughout this year. So,
Yeah, congrats. Chris has been talking a lot of smack, saying he's going to beat you pretty bad this weekend. So bring your A game.
That is not true.
Right.
That is not true. All I want to say
I think
is
Harrelson knows where to go.
I've learned a ton. I've learned a ton from Harrelson when it comes to flipping, and even at Instapoga, the guy was like, "Hey, man, like he's kind enough to be like, this is what you need to use." And literally, like 2 casts later, I hook into a 5-pounder and lose it. I didn't catch it. I lost it. But the fact of the matter is he is the kindest person you'll meet out on the water. He'll give you the shirt off his back, and if you needed it. So I appreciate that, Harrelson. I know you wouldn't just do that for me, but for anybody. That's the kind of people we want to showcase in this trail specifically. And that's not just you. That goes for everybody. I think we have a lot of phenomenal people in this club that are doing good things for the sport of kayak fishing. So you're definitely one of those people. So I appreciate everything you do for us.
Thank you.
I got a question here. So what do you guys think is going to play out on Orange Lake? What's going to play there?
Worm.
How they're going to bite, and what do you think the numbers are going to end up each day?
Depends on the vegetation.
Yeah, we got to get up there and see how much the that spray impacted it. I haven't seen any like posts about it on the page that there's normally people posting. I don't know. I've never fished the lake. I just seen what people have posted and kind of like what other people talk about. So I couldn't give you an accurate number personally.
I think mid to low 90s each day, probably.
I say 85. What'd you say, Chris?
We're going to break 100 on it?
I said it depends on what they sprayed.
I think somebody will break 100 one day, and the other day is going to be a little bit lower. But on average, I'd say mid to low 90s, I think. I don't know. The chatterbait bite.
Yeah,
it really depends on what they sprayed, what the vegetation looks like. Are there mats? Is there healthy hydrilla? If it's scattered and sporadic, then it makes it a little bit harder. That lake, I know it puts out a lot of big fish, but I have my own theories of how they're catching them or where they're catching them at. I think if we're just fishing Orange Lake specifically, mid 80s to 90 each day will win it. I don't think anybody's breaking 100. If you break 100, you're going to have, I think, a really good lead going into day two. Or if you break 100 on day 2 and you had a half decent day on day 1, you stand a good chance to win it. Mm-hmm. I'm sure somebody's going to catch. There'd be some good fish caught. If somebody catches one that's over 10, I'd be surprised. But I don't just because I've fished it enough that I don't know if anybody's going to go over 100. I think if you get over 90, you're sitting real good.
Yeah, I think that's a good estimate. I think Tenoroc shocked us. We're like, oh, there's gonna be multiple 100s. I'm not saying anything anymore. I'm gonna lowball everything and then just shoot for the stars.
65.
A limit, a 12-inch limit is what I'm gonna say. So.
I think, like I was saying, 100 inches one day, and then they're going to drop off to like 82 the next day. It's going to be like a 182.
I think the last time we fished it, or a trail fished it up there, was in June. And if I remember correctly, maybe it was in June. I can't remember.
We fished it. I don't think it was June. We fished it, 3-4 years ago? Yeah. I think it was like 4 years ago.
It was either May or June, because April, it might have been May, around this time of the year. I cashed a check with like 76 inches. So I'm just saying.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The winner, I think the winner had 85 or 88.
So you're saying there's a chance.
If you get a limit of fish, yeah, there's a chance.
Yeah, there's a chance if you get a limit. Okay. I'm going to start stringing up my fish now then, I guess.
Was it 2 years ago?
No, it was 3
years. It was like
ago.
4 years, like over 3 years ago. Yeah.
It was 3 years ago.
Yeah, Dave Harper won, but that was
He caught a limit of fish. That's how he won.
Yeah.
He only caught 5. I think I caught like 13, but all of them were like 10 to 13. Now, I've done better since I've gone back, but I think it totally depends on what the state of the vegetation is, what vegetation is healthy. And then, I think it's going to depend on that.
Right,
yeah, I think all the numbers were low. I think I caught like 4 and got in like 4th place or 5th place. It was a struggle.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun though. It's a championship. It's gonna be a grind out there, but I'm hoping a group of us get on them and have fun and make it a competitive end of the year. Bailey needs to catch a fish after 10. Hey, I caught both of my big fish after 10 a.m., so I don't want to hear it. All right, they're throwing shade. I'll get. Hey, David, you don't even know what's coming your way at the championship, so we got big things in store for David. He is the 6-time Dink Master for Little Debbie Award winner on the trail. So we got
plenty of small fish.
We should have had Dave on here to talk about his AOY for the Little Debbies.
Yeah, so we'll bring him on at the next show and have him talk about what his tricks are to catching dinks. Because that is an art. That is a art. When you catch smaller fish than a guy who's fly fishing, that's an art. I'm just saying because what's it? First name is Todd Ezekiel, right? Todd. He's caught some very small fish on his fly fish, on his little fly. So you're beating him out. So he said, "Hey, I set my goals for the year." Okay, yeah, we got him though. But honestly, real quick too with you, Thomas. I appreciate. We talked a little bit about Chris, but Sean, I, and Todd, we've talked, and we appreciate how much effort you've put in from the first event all the way to this event. We know that you're busy fishing Hobie, fishing the other bass trails around the state. Between you, Chris, and a bunch of the other anglers, members of our club, we appreciate the effort and energy that you put in, the videos you put out, where you kind of, tournament recaps and stuff. That does really good stuff for our club, because there's a ton of people. I was talking to a guy in Bass Pro Shop a week before the Tenoroc event, just talking with him. And he's like, "Oh, I was like, I kayak bass fish and we have an event here. And he was like, "Do you know Thomas Woodring and Chris Mitchell?" And I was like, "Yeah." And these these fishermen are watching your videos out there too, by the way. Just 2 old men that fish the local boat trail here. We're talking about how they watch yours and Mitchell's videos. So
that's cool.
Yeah, you guys do a lot for the sport. We appreciate it. We're glad that you're a part of the trail, and hopefully we'll see you out here again next year. And competing at that high level. So appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no problem.
And if y'all want to, guys, y'all gonna, throw out your social media, your sponsors, thank them.
Yeah.
Please go ahead. That way, people that haven't watched your videos, Thomas, like I have, and I've learned from you guys, and I thank you very much for putting those out, you and Mitchell and the other people that do, because fishing Florida is totally different than what I'm used to, and that's what helped me over the years to kind of figure it out a little bit, or over this year to figure it out. So I really appreciate you guys sharing your knowledge of what y'all are doing out on the lake. So, but yeah, go ahead and Thomas, share your social media, your YouTube channel, and any sponsors.
Yeah, so the social medias, if you want to follow me on YouTube, it's just T Woodring Fishing. And then that's the exact same thing for Instagram. If you want to follow me there, I only have one sponsor this year. It's Mondo's Fishing, which is Greg Gerdak. And Mondo's Fishing, for those who don't know, is just an online mom and pop shop. So they sell like arc rods and reels. He can get you pretty much anything. He's got a lot of stuff in stock. He's a good guy. So thanks to him for help sponsoring the season. Want to try to get out onto some bigger trails like the BASS Nation, like the Open Series. Next year, we'll see what happens. We'll try to pick up some other sponsors to help cover the cost of traveling, because traveling's not cheap, especially if you're doing kayak fishing. Like, you need to cash a check to break even, or place high enough to make it worth it. So we're going to see if we can find some help on that. But thanks to Greg for definitely sponsoring this season. Thanks to you guys for hosting a really good season. It was a really solid first FKBT season, I thought. So thanks all around. It's been enjoyable.
Yeah, and we want to get some feedback too from you guys, our anglers, is like, what can we do better to make this trail, that much better for next season? And any ways you guys think we can get some more anglers to come out and participate, by all means. We need to share this sport. I got a couple things here in Lakeland of some trails or some bait and tackle shops that want to kind of get involved and do some seminars. So if you guys are interested in like bringing your kayak, you can host some of your sponsors, plug them in there too. But there's a local bait and tackle shop here in Lakeland. It's called Lakeland Outfitters. It's right by Lake Parker. It's a huge, really, really good bait tackle shop that I've come to use, and I know Nathaniel uses it quite a bit as well. But they have an area in the back to where you can host like seminars, whatever. I think if that's something you guys would be interested in doing, just shoot me a text or a message on Facebook, and we can work on setting something up like that, because Thomas and Chris and all those others that have those YouTube channels, I think that'd be a good place to kind of plug you guys in and get you guys out there to the public too. So
yeah, sure.
Definitely. Harrelson, you go ahead and tell us.
Shout outs you want to make?
So you guys, amazing job this year. Couldn't ask for anything better. Better group of guys. That's it. Got no sponsors or anything like that. So
Yet. You keep it up, you might. So
try.
you guys do have sponsors. Look at all the ones here on the bottom of the kayak of our trail. You guys do got some sponsors. So
I've got one sponsor.
Who? Your wife?
Myself.
Oh.
Pretty much.
I'm thinking about stop tournament fishing and just running the trail. I don't even do any good anyways. I might just sit out there and eat Little Debbie's while you guys are fishing, and then just do the tournament recap at the end. That might be what I end up doing.
Hey, but you did catch a check this year. You got a third or second or third, wasn't it?
Yeah. On Claremont. Me and Harrelson, I got bumped out a second, but it is what it is. I'm a little butthurt about this Tenoroc event, as y'all can't tell. I've been down in the dirt for the past week. I've literally came home and like buried my head in the pillow and screamed for like an hour because of how frustrated I was with that lake. So it's been difficult.
I feel your pain, Bailey, because that's the way I felt on Claremont. Because every week I went out there, I was catching 20s, and I had my spot, and then come tournament day, I couldn't catch squat. There wasn't biting. So
yeah, it is what it is. It's fishing. I picked myself back up. I swallowed my pride, and now I'm gonna go have some fun this weekend. All my fish got denied too, by the way, for one of the online tournaments that I'm fishing. So there that goes. All that pre-fishing fish that I caught in the drain, they didn't accept them because I wasn't using their official identifier. So I'm deleting that off the board. So so I'm going to go out this weekend. We're going to have some fun. With that, Sean, myself, and Chris, we're going to go head out to Fellsmere and do a little YouTube video out there. Sean is starting up his a YouTube channel for us that we're going to start posting some really cool videos. So go out there and like and subscribe to that. They're probably going to be pretty horrendous.
Yo, they're going to be horrendous for sure.
But if we make it on America's Home Videos, funniest videos, I mean, that's all that counts. And then we have working on a kayak day for my job. If one of more of you guys could show up, I think it might get a few people to join. Yeah, by all means, send us that information and we can create like a digital banner for it if there's not already one created. We'll share it to our Facebook page. I don't mind doing that. I know myself and Todd, we talked with Ty from Van Hunks at the event on Tenoroc, and they're doing a huge warehouse blowout sale. I shared, I don't know exactly what days they are, but I shared that to our Facebook page. They are doing really good stuff with they've done a lot for us this year with providing us with a kayak for the Angler of the Year. I got to go out on that kayak at the after the award ceremony at Tenoroc. It was very, very, very fast. For a pedaling kayak, for me, I'm used to my Hobie, and it's like a tank. I got into that thing, and it's light and it was quick, and it had it has a lot of possibilities, Thomas. So you're going to get a chance to kind of play around with that.
Cool.
There's a lot of cool things that you can do with it. We'll kind of let Ty kind of explain what that is. But I think you're going to be happy with it, using it or giving it to one of you. You have a kid. You have a son, right?
Yeah, I got two.
Yeah. So it'll be a great kayak for that. But I think it's going to be a really good fishing platform for you to kind of just, get on the water with,
Cool.
and use as well. So I'm not just saying that because they gave us a kayak. I literally got in it and I was zipping around. I was like, it's pretty cool. So
I will say, when I was talking to him, Bailey, that kayak is, they were telling me all the neat features about how the various different drive platforms that will take. 5 different versions: the fins, the prop, the Bixby, just a regular trolling motor, and then another.
It'll do the Hobie drive.
Yeah, you can even take
the 360 or no, the 180, I think.
Yeah,
the 180.
You can't do the 360, but
you can do the
180s. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, it was. I liked what was in front of me. It offered, and it's a narrow boat, but the stability on that thing, I got up all the way on the tip of it and was standing up on it in Tenoroc. And then I didn't really test too much of the stability to the left and the right because I wasn't trying to go swimming. But it's going to be good, and it's a super stable platform. So Thomas, you're going to have to give us a good review YouTube video on it once you get it.
Okay.
And we'll release it to Van Hunks and let them look at it and publish it and use it as well. If you're okay with that, just so that they can get like an honest, good review and do like an Angler of the Year video for it, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll work something out.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you, Thomas and Chris, for hopping on tonight. Again, huge shout out to Sherman as well. Sherman placed second in the event. This is his second event that he's fished with us. Sherman's an awesome guy. I met him out at Tenoroc many years, or about a year and a half ago, and just a super nice guy. So we were very fortunate to have him come out there and fish this event with us, and taking home a second place. He too is lighting up the Bass Nation Trail with solid performances time after time. So give him a huge shout out as well. Really good guy. And if you have any questions on fishing or anything at Tenoroc, you can be sure to hit him up as well, because he is a hammer out there. So congratulations again, Thomas, on your Angler of the Year. We have some cool things that we're going to be doing for you at the championship. We didn't forget about you. I promise you there's some things that you're going to be getting along with the kayak. Dakota Lithium has something that they gave us to give to you. New canoe with a $350 check as well. And then we got a surprise for you from the club to kind of go along with your Angler of the Year kayak.
Cool. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be looking forward.
So
yeah, well, I'll definitely be there. Championship on any of the trail series I fish is the one thing I'm missing. So yeah, I'll be gunning for it as best I can, at least.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to having you out there, Chris. We look forward to seeing you on Friday. And yeah, thank you guys for hopping on with us, and Todd for doing the interviews. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for a great year, and we're looking forward to the championship. We'll let you guys go, but stay tuned, stay on, because we're going to talk the championship here in the next couple minutes. So awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Well,
thank you, guys.
Okay, awesome. So we got a couple things that we want to kind of cover to kind of clear up the air, just from some of the stuff that we heard some of the anglers talking amongst one another at the Tenoroc event, in regards to the upcoming club championship. I saw a thing a few minutes ago where there were ramps and boundaries for Orange Lake that were posted to the members only page. So Sean had just posted that. So give that a quick look, or Sean can bring it up here in a minute. But
yeah,
first,
for sure.
but first, what we want to kind of get out there, I know we only got 11 folks watching right now, and we're going to do another video here in the coming next week in regards to it, but we want to get this out as soon as possible to our members. The championship is open to all members this year. Okay, so what that means is if you're an active member and you participated in one or more of the trail events throughout the year, you're eligible to fish the championship. Fishing Chaos, we'll put clutter on here in a second. So Fishing Chaos, I'm working right now on building the registration and the tournament platform for it. It's a little different than our normal trail event because it's a 2-day event. I haven't posted it yet because I need to get clarification that I got everything set up properly for the event. But we will be going live, hopefully, on registration starting Friday night. I'm going to try to get everything set up to where we can start the registration for the tournament this Friday, which is the 19th? It's Friday the 19th?
It is.
Yeah, so
Yes.
Friday the 19th is going to be when we go live with registration. Registration fees for this event is going to be $100. That's a 2-day event, so it's going to $100. That's going to help boost up those payouts. And Big Bass is going to be $20. That's $10 a day. So all we did is literally double what it would cost for one event. And the reason we did that is so that we can have, that bigger payout for our top performers there. And the club is also going to be throwing in money to go in towards the overall pot to the championship as well. So to answer Jason, to answer your question, it's going to be $100. It's the same thing as it has been in the years past. And
How much is Big Bass?
Big Bass is $20. So there's 2 tickets at Big Bass. Is going to be the biggest bass for both combined days. So if you catch a 23 in day 1 and that holds out through day 2, you will be the winner. And the tie will go to who catches the biggest fish first. It's the time on who caught. If 2 people catch 23s, it's who caught the 23-inch fish first. Yep, championship $100 entry fee. Big Bass is $20. Yes. We are still working on the location for the championship award ceremony. We are wanting to do a championship dinner that Saturday night. We're trying to find a good location. So I got
one.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, there's a really cool restaurant called it's Cross Creek. I think it's called the Yearling.
Okay.
But it's like a historic restaurant, so it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Food's,
Heck yeah.
better
So
than most of the area.
we can get in contact with them and try to see if we can get a reservation or one, we got to know how many people are planning on fishing the event so we can, or attending that Saturday dinner. We will kind of reach out to them and try to get something reserved for that. And Thomas Woodring actually dropped the Yearling restaurant page on our comments, so that's good. I appreciate that, Thomas.
Bailey, speaking
Yes.
of getting a count, do you want to mention the deadline for
Yes.
registration?
Yeah, so I was just about to mention that, Todd. So in an effort, this is what we're doing. This is the only thing that is quote unquote changing for the championship, and let me explain why we're doing it. Registration has normally been the Friday before the event at 8 p.m. What we're doing for the championship is the championship is going to be on June 10th.
10.
Registration ends June 5th. Hear me out. Registration ends June 5th. Can someone type that in the comment section below?
I got you.
The reason we're doing this is, one, so we can get an accurate count on who's going to be there so that we can make sure that we have enough of everything at the championship. As far as locations for the dinner, the a bunch of other things, but the main reason is so that we can have the money in hand. So when you leave there, you have cash in hand. You're not having to wait on me to send you money via PayPal or Zelle. Our goal moving forward is to kind of get some feedback on that, but I want to be able to pay you guys cash at that event. What's up with the percent fifth? What?
Hey, it's all right. We fixed it. We both did.
So that's our goal for the championship. Hopefully that doesn't frustrate anybody. We're going to make a huge digital banner that says registration ends on this date, just so nobody misses out. And on the off chance that someone does miss out and they want to fish, we'll see what we can do. But as of right now, the registration has a hard date of June 5th. So, Amy, we're going to talk about the payouts. Payouts are going to be dependent on how many people we get to sign up for this thing. The more people we get signed up, the more people we're going to be able to pay out. Our goal, right, Todd and Sean, that we talked about is 10%. To pay out the 10%, right? But we got to get a lot. We got to get a good portion of our folks to sign up so that we can do that. Our goal is, yes, the top 10% of the championship get paid out. We will post championship payout scale. We'll make a cool little graph or a chart. If we get this many people signed up, this is what the top 10, kind of like how KBF does it. We'll work on, Sean and Todd, we can work on something like that to visually show you guys what that payout will look like. But again, it all comes down to how many people we can get to participate in this in this tournament. Make it real money. Yeah. So with $100, yeah, first through third would be good. But our goal, honestly, is first through five. The top five is what we're aiming for as far as payouts go. For the championship, being able to pay out the first through fifth, and big bass. So but we got to get to that top. We have to get at least 50 people there to fish for us to get to the top five. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
And does anybody have any feedback on us closing registration on the 5th of June? I know a lot of people like to wait till the last minute, but this is the championship. Sign up early, and if anything happens and you can't make the championship, a refund can be administered to you guys. Just know that there's the bank fees and stuff like that. It ends up being like $6 or $7. That the bank fee coming in and then the bank fee going out. As far as it's like, it ends up being like, if you pay $60 or $50, it ends up being like $53 is that what you'll end up getting back if I have to refund you. So just let us know.
And we have a ton of door prizes.
Yes, so we do. We have an absolute, we have a lot. We just purchased some stuff from Rogue. Torrent Outdoors is hooking us up. We purchased some stuff through them, but we also reached out to Rocket Lures and purchased a ton of baits through them that are going to be distributed out. We're going to do some cool FKBT stickers that we're going to be giving away. Shirts, some kayak cushion covers, some rods and reels from 13 Fishing, Yak Attack gift cards, Wicked Weight gift cards. I mean, we got a ton of stuff that we're going to be giving away to you guys. So it's definitely going to be worth your while.
Lithium batteries.
Yep, we got it all. So it's going to be a good post award ceremony. And the people who are there and show up to that ceremony are going to be the ones walking away with those prizes. So we're gonna do it at a randomized thing. You're gonna be there. You're gonna sign in. We're gonna add your name to this name drawer, and we're gonna hit a button. We're gonna hit go, and whatever name it says, or what place you finish. There's gonna be a way that we're gonna do it to where we make sure you guys get prizes kind of fairly throughout the process of the award ceremony. We're not sure how we're going to do that yet, but we'll come up with a way that is best to get those prizes out in the right hands. So, what else did I miss?
I was just going to talk that link I posted, the members only page. If you open it up, I'll share it real quick. But if you click on it, it's going to it's a Google Maps link. So let's see, share screen, and I'll show you what it should look like. All right, you guys should be able to see that, but you're going to have points that are going to pop up over here on Highway 301. I don't think you can get underneath that roadway, period, but I went ahead and marked it as a boundary. Should be some type of levy. I don't know if Clutter can give me specifics on that, but I do. According to Google Maps, it doesn't look like you can get through. But
you can't get through.
Yeah, then you have Marjorie Keenan Rollins Historic State Park. That's an authorized launch. There's only going to be 2 launches, and that's on we'll call it the east side of the lake. And over here on the west side, you got Hagueberry or Burry Park.
Hagueberry. Come
we'll
on.
call it Huggy Bear
No,
Park over here.
You're
Bear
butchering
Park.
all these names right now.
All right, Huggy Bear Park. I'm just going to keep on
It's
saying
Marjorie
it
Keenan Rollins and Hagueberry.
wrong. Personally, I don't care. we got Huggy Bear Park and Marjorie Park over here. And those are going to be the 2 authorized launches. Then your boundary between Orange and La Calusa, I'm probably saying that wrong too. It's going to be County Road 325. And your next boundary is going to be up here on Highway 346. This is all marked on that link. If you click and open it up, it's going to identify the boundaries and the ramps as these little points. It's probably going to pop up blue if you pull it up on your phone. Penny, any questions on that? Not a lot of boundaries, only 2 launches. Going to keep it quite simple, I hope. I know any changes, we're going to, once Chris releases the Fishing Chaos link, I don't know if he's made it live yet or not. I know he's working with Fishing Chaos right now and make sure we publish everything properly for the leaderboards and whatnot. So you'll be seeing that here in the near future, and it's going to have and we'll probably talk it next week just to clarify any changes. I know he mentioned one, but there may be one other minor one with launch times that we're talking. But other than that, there's no major changes going to be for the championship. It's same rules necessary. I forget what exactly you said, but end launch times may be a minor adjustment. But other than that, pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, so launch times and stuff, we'll talk a little bit later. We're going to nail some things down as far as like tournament time, lines in, lines out for the championship are going to be the same. It's just the of what we would normally fish in the regular season, but that launch time, we'll nail it down, and what is reasonable whenever it comes down to light and getting to your spot. With there only being 2 launches available, it can get tricky. So we'll definitely get you guys informed more on that once we come up. We'll get a more definitive answer. It's not crazy, but
you're gonna have plenty of time to get to your spots you're going to. Maybe I don't know. Depends on how thick the grass is. Maybe paddle on a ways, unless you have a
So we're excited about Orange Lake. It's obviously going to be the final event of our year for as far as like the trail season goes. But we're definitely going to be jumping. We're going to give about a month or so off for Sean and myself and Todd to kind of recoup and spend some time with our family, since we've been go for the past 8 months or so with the trail. And then we're going to kick up the open series that we're going to start pushing. And what the goal behind that is getting folks out on the water fishing, not necessarily to promote or to kind of recruit them for our club, but just getting people out on the water fishing and having fun. And how we do that it's going to be a lot of fun this year. And we're looking forward to it. We're going to spread the word. We're going to do a lot of stuff, a lot more things within the community. So we would love, if you're interested and you're one of those guys or gals that like to give back to the community, reach out to myself or Todd or Sean, and with any ideas that you may have. But I think, you know, as an organization and trying to grow the sport, if we do more things like Clutter just did with the cops and bobbers and getting, you know, kids introduced to fishing and adults that might not have that opportunity, you know, given affording those individuals opportunities, or they just might not know that it even exists, is going to help the sport in general, not just for the Florida Kayak Bass Trail, but for bass, for Hobie, for all of those individuals. Because we're in Florida, there we haven't even reached what I think the possibility is of that, what we can reach out there. Like tonight, we were talking before we went live. KBFTN has 33 people fishing in a tournament right now on Tuesday night. Right, that's really, I think that's a good turnout. They got people traveling 6 hours to go fish a body of water on a Tuesday night. For how long's the tournament? 5 hours? 4 hours?
4 hours.
4 hours, right? And then here in Florida, yeah, we have saltwater anglers to kind of compete with and that sort of thing. But we're average. I think our average has sunk a little bit. We're just hovering below that 30 average a mark, or 30 average, our 30 angler average per event for our season. So whatever we can do to kind of promote it and get more people involved is going to be better. It's going to be better for us. It's going to be better for the sport in general, for Hobie, for whoever it is. Whatever we got to do, I think this off season we need to work on doing that. And we have a couple things in mind, but it's going to take members and us going out there and putting in that effort, and really getting it out there to those people. But there's a lot more information for that to come. We got a lot of really good anglers that are very knowledgeable and could help out the average Joe that just wants to go out there and fish. So definitely I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, that's all I got, fellas. What you got? Clutter, thank you for hopping on. You're busy. You're out there serving and protecting the community. So
yeah, we got a little lull here, so I jumped on.
Well, we
It's been
appreciate you
crazy.
coming on and spending some time with us. He third place finisher at Tenoroc. Todd kind of gave your juice away, but he
yeah, it was tough day, man. It was tough. I think I caught like 4 of my keepers like after 1 o'clock. I mean,
yeah,
it was just a grind. I don't think between Todd and I, like there was no breaks. We just kept winging it. Yeah. Sorry.
What?
Nothing. Yeah. Hey, by the way, Orange Lake, I don't know if you guys talked about it yet. There's no real good hotels near it. There are motels. They're a bit older. So if you're willing to risk it, there's a couple within like 10 minutes of the lake, towards the south end. But there are some decent hotels off of 75 that are roughly like 20, 25 minutes away. So,
yeah.
There's
Yeah,
that.
I stayed in Gainesville last time we went up there,
Yeah.
like 3 years ago, and that's what
Yeah.
a 40-minute drive, if that.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably 30 minutes. It's not
Yeah,
far.
at like 4 o'clock in the morning, it was quick, but
Oh yeah.
that afternoon traffic's brutal.
Now,
Yeah.
there is. I know we discussed it a little bit. South Shore used to have a launch there, and it recently sold within the past month or so. And I know talking to because my dad and mom live on the lake, so talking to them, I know that they've been trying to keep people. They've been trying to keep people out of the area. So I don't know. I'm gonna try to meet with whoever bought it and see if maybe we can use the facility there. But right now it's completely closed. It used to be a really good ramp. So we'll see.
And it, like, I only highlighted those two. I know we were talking about before we went live, but if you look on the FWC boat ramp finder, like Mike's Fish Camp, I think it's called something else on Google Maps. But if you read the description, it's like maybe dry, not suitable except for airboat. So that one's not in play right now. unless
Yeah,
Clutter's communication with them up there gives us another option, the launch room. Those are the two only launches, and we're probably going to stick with that 100%,
Yeah.
right? Unless something changes in the next day or two. But
it's definitely down. It's down probably 2 feet. And I know they sprayed the south end, but I don't think they sprayed anything north of there. So
yeah, all the lakes. If you look at the lake levels across Florida, all of them are almost already at summer pool as of about 3 weeks ago. So I know Toho.
Yeah.
I was freaking Toho the other day. It's like 6 inches above summer pool, like four or five, I think is the exact number. But
Yeah,
all the
they
lakes
just
are
don't
pretty
get much
low.
rain up there at all during this season. So
Coming from a Tennessee boy, that sounds so funny because summer pool, the water is as high as you can get.
highs. Yeah,
You know, and winter pool is the low part. So here it's the reverse. Which is crazy.
well, guys, we're just 5 minutes past that hour mark. So, do you guys have anything else you want to add? Or I know we're going to be going live next Tuesday. We're probably going to be bringing on a sponsor too to talk with on next Tuesday. So we're going to try to have Rogue if they can come on board and kind of talk a little bit. There was something that they wanted to was it Rogue to talk about their new?
Yeah. So we're going to get with Mark with his schedule and find out.
Yeah.
He wants to come on and just kind of talk about their name change and where they're heading with the company. I think Van Hunks is going to come on right after the championship, maybe.
Before and after. Yeah, we're gonna bring them on before to kind of talk with them a little bit. And yeah, we're gonna work with Van Hunks, and Wicked Weights is gonna be coming on here shortly as well too.
Sweet.
Yep. Yeah. So that's all we got, man. We appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching. Again, congrats to all the top finishers out at Tenoroc, and Thomas Woodring for finishing off the season as the Angler of the Year. We look forward to seeing everyone out at the next event out on Orange Lake on June 10th. If you guys want to come out and help pre-fish, drop a comment or make a post on the members only page, and maybe we can link up, or you can link up with some of the other anglers to help kind of break down some of the water. But I'll be out there Memorial Day weekend with Chris Mitchell for a couple days maybe. So if you guys want to come up there and hang out and fish, just shoot us a message. We'd love to kind of go out there and have some fun. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's all I got, guys.
It's been awesome. Have a good night.
Wonderful year.
Good seeing you, Clutter. I love the mustache.
It was a great year.